Getty and Gunnar Renzinger. They are two of the 3D animators from our team of, I'm just going to mention the names of the 3D animators who couldn't be here. We have Bridget Whitwer, Therese Benoit, and Leith Miller. They couldn't be here with us today, but we're very fortunate to have Getty and Gunnar. Interesting tidbit, Getty and I did the Unreal Engine Animation Fellowship together, and we're on the same team. And somehow, a couple of months later, we found ourselves on Team Ashen together, and both of them use the control rigs in Unreal Engine. I'd love for them to be able to speak about that.
Also, Gunnar was creating our game, Two Found Lederhosen. And you want to talk about it? I said nothing. So he was back in the day, he was too young to become a young entertainment professional. This is how young he is even today. Yes?
Yes, and luckily I'm now 22, so I can drink. And actually, I'm Getty, this is Gunnar. Luckily, we both have G names. How wonderful. And here we get to the next slide. Oh, next slide's supposed to be for the control rig, right?
My name is
Yeah. Okay, perfect. All right, so let's get that clean. Okay, so luckily for the Ashen team, we were actually set up with a control rig by Shaman, and the control rig, I'd have to say, is probably one of the most useful tools for a 3D animator nowadays. As you can see here I am editing the scene live of how we're trying to go into the chimney, which what I love most about the control rig is the simplicity for either forward kinematics or inverse kinematics, which we'll just call FK or IK, because let's be honest, no one wants to say that many words. What I like most about the inverse kinematics is how you can just have the hand or foot move, and then it'll automatically adjust the bones to make it look or try to simulate as realistically as possible. One of the more challenging scenes that I am cleaning up and working on is the scene where he is handling the rabbit, because it's an animated character holding another animated character. You want them all to be moving as realistically as possible without clipping into each other, which, let's be honest, the mocap data obviously is a huge boost for us in order to have a more realistic thing to work with and then clean up. The hard part is just trying to make things look like it has weight, to make sure everything that is touching another surface does not go into that surface. Because we're trying to work within a virtual environment, which doesn't exist, we're trying to make it look as real as possible. One of the other scenes I've heard is a little bit difficult to work with, so I'm going to be passing on to my brother because he's been really excited to talk about what he had worked on.
So the scene that I was working on was the scene with how he was climbing up the chimney. And what was really difficult about it was that since it was mocap, the character was always moving around, and the biggest problem of it was that the legs were constantly clipping through the walls or moving too far away, but the control rigs just made it infinitely easier to move all the bones together to where they need to be, and which really just
Made it happen.
sorry.
I just finished your sentence, sorry. I thought you were stuck. Yeah.
But it's been really great to work on this project. I'm very thankful for it, and I'll pass it back off to Getty.
And just kind of wrapping up our time here, we don't want to be taking up too much of people's time. As you can see with the video, this is obviously a older render to where Howie still had white hair and a blue shirt. And you can just see the actual virtual environment before we've gotten some of the newer models and textures in. So this is a little outdated. I kind of wished I'd be able to get a more recent render available, specifically for the scene with the rabbits. Like I said, that's a difficult one, and I spent like a couple of weeks straight just trying to get the hands holding the bunny, and I'm looking forward to once we get the rabbits animation in, because then it's going to be even more work to get the fingers done. Finger animation is very tedious, but I'm very thankful that Sean had made such a wonderful control rig for us to work with, because then it makes it way easier to get the polishing and cleaning done.
Thank you guys. Yeah, it was fantastic.